like an hour and a half. So at this point, there's a lot of stuff that we can really address.
I'm hearing from top men, top women, and top monkeys. This game actually might be ready to go.
No,
I know. We just prepped you and got you ready. But you know, we're just going to go full chaos here. It looks like we're getting ready for game number 1. We think we got the problem all solved out. Josh has promised it. If not, we can just blame Josh as usual.
Yep.
He's our number 1 go-to if you ever need a scapegoat.
A little bit of monkey business still going on, but I guess we're going into the next match pretty soon. But while we're still not 100% confirmed on that, let's go a little bit over, especially the lineups. When we look at the new teams and the lineups that have come in, who is really the team that stands out to you just coming in from the changes? Well, as we actually say,
I mean, for me, right away, it was Team Liquid. I feel like Arcane coming on this roster is going to give them the power. For me, it was a matter of whether or not Neroc's going to fill in that support role well, and he has been grinding like crazy. I watched a few of his streams, and it looks like he's ready to go on it.
I mean, I said it in the past, as we have our first draft starting up here, but I really think that Arcana is probably one of the most impressive players that we have in Heroes of the Storm.
He's so fluid.
He might not be as good as Rich, for example, or as flashy, but at the same time, the guy can do anything. He has an insane passion for the game. I mean, he moved even to a different continent, to a much harder region than where he originally comes from because he wanted to improve as a player. But just the work ethic that that guy has, when you can literally tell him, listen, this is the role we need you in. And he says, okay, boys, I got this. I might not enjoy the role as much as some others, but I got this. I'm going to grind games out all day long, all night long, and I'm going to make sure that I'm ready so I can have a positive impact on the team and the results once the season starts.
And we have started this draft in a pretty exciting fashion if you enjoy the double support Tracer, if you can consider Tassadar a support, because Tracer Tassadar comes out for Team Liquid as their 1 and 2, while Genji and Garrosh have been banned, but Monkeys, they answer back right away. We have Malfurion and we have Blaze, who was a pretty darn good hero at the MSB.
Blaze was ridiculous, and on the live patch, of course, he has now also a cooldown increase on the bunker cooldown, which was definitely needed. So it moves up from 50 to 60 now, but we've seen him with an absolutely insane track record in the playoff phase of the mid-season brawl. But if you look at the draft here right now, it's pretty much what has been established as the meta at the mid-season brawl to a large extent. Now, a ban on Genji, seen that a lot, especially on the Tomb. The quick rotations between lanes enable you to threaten the solo lane and have a big impact there, so he gets banned out. But then the Malfurion and Blaze option when Tracer Tassadar. Now Tassadar, of course, with Vision. That, on the other hand, is an interesting change considering that Greymane has pretty much fallen off completely.
He was dabbled in a little bit at the MSB, but it felt like when you were shoehorned into a draft where you just needed some kind of burst damage and someone that could auto-attack, Greymane just fit because he was one of the last options. So Monkeys picking this up so early is so different, especially when they have wave clear available from them when we've had it from Crosby and the Fact. I mean, Hanzo's still up and available. You also have Gul'dan. These are heroes that are great on this battleground.
I'm actually even thinking about potentially banning on Varian here. Now, the Chinese answer to any kind of Tracer draft has been an immediate Varian pick, and we have seen that reflected later on occasionally by other teams too.
Sure.
The only reason why I even come up with Varian here, because normally I would opt for a different ban, is that it's the Monkeys. And if you have Greymane already selected, if you go into any kind of Varian option, you can really try and go for a lockdown and then maybe a quick burst to control Tracer, but also burn everyone else away. If it wasn't the Monkeys, I would probably shy away from that, but I feel it's definitely a potential pick for them. Chromia, on the other hand, is always strong on the battleground, a very meta pick that we've seen here a lot, so Team Liquid goes down the meta path. It's difficult to predict the Monkeys, to be honest. I mean, they have that name for a reason. They got banned out by them now, but I'm a bit curious to see what that main tank is going to be now that they drafted an early Greymane.
They also avoid the idea of Chromie poking down somebody and Greymane getting that kill, so now Tracer can just focus on the Greymane. As Chromie, Greymane are very similar to what we saw at MSV with Chromie Genji, where you poke down on target, find them, get them low, and you have someone go in. Greymane has a harder time compared to Genji, but still, the concept is still there.
So, interestingly enough, we have now with Liquid the opportunity to go, let's say, into a Johanna, for example.
Sure.
We've talked a lot about her rise in the meta and how she has started to have a much bigger impact than before. She was always a hero that was considered on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So I think when it comes to tanks, we have 3 heroes in particular that come to mind. That's Johanna, that's Muradin, and that's Diablo. But Johanna definitely has a huge chance of being picked here. She adds the wave clear. There's the immediate pick on her. She adds the blinds as well that help against Greymane now. Can create the space. And Stukov as the heal and also silence. So it could be a setup with a Blessed Shield again, trying to go in, stun a target out, get a silence on top of it with a Lurking Arm, and then just deliver with the damage output.
Also very helpful against Blaze if he goes in for a jet propulsion, assuming we're getting another tank here from the monkeys that allow for them to get an aggressive engage. Having the silence makes it hard for that bunker to come offline, which gives you a better chance to clean up a target, maybe dive that Malfurion before Ice Block becomes available. So Stukov very helpful in that situation to really enable the Tracer.
Now, we said before, we expect a lot of monkey business from the Monkey Menagerie here during Phase 2. And that means that we could literally see anything towards these last picks. But I would say, going into the first game of Phase 2, they will still play this pretty close to home and try to rely a bit on meta and then see, okay, how far do we get with this? What can we actually accomplish here? How do we measure up to the teams? But we still have to appreciate here that they are the underdog into this. No matter what the motivation level on their end now is, going up against Team Liquid is definitely one of these positions where they are expected to be in an underdog role.
Stitches and Lunara coming out. So you have the hook into a root. Pretty typical that we see there. Blaze to be in the off lane, and then Lunara and Greymane to slow down the target and allow Greymane to clean them up.
Unfair advantage, also fantastic when you go into Putrid Bile here. So you can still play this around Gorge, but Putrid Bile with Lunara can be fantastic for that setup. If you feel that you can get away with it, it's always a question, can you go into the unfair advantage? Do we have to go for a more passive option here? But yeah, it's a lineup that can definitely work out for them, and it gives them a lot of options to poke away. Stukov, of course, needs to be very careful since he doesn't necessarily have that burst heal available that you oftentimes need, at least not as reliable. So when you go up against a Greymane, that can prove to be an issue.
And their wave clear, which you need on this battleground, is great for monkeys. Actually, look at the draft here, and I like it a lot. It's not even that reliant on hooks, too, but it has an extra factor of if we find hooks, we get kills, too. Team Liquid will be looking for their 5th pickup, and they decide to move into Dehaka, who will help out with the wave clear on the bottom lane, but also to be kind of a tanky nuisance towards the late game. That Essence build has been pretty strong lately.
Yeah, and as you said, the monkeys, they have a good draft here. They have definitely something that you can work with, and if they execute well, then they could actually walk away with a win against Team Liquid in game number 1. And that's the thing. The one thing where Tricked, now the monkeys, have always excelled is if they have, they have a lot of fun when they play. They are experimenting a lot, but we have heard that throughout 2017, where especially Marke has been talking a lot about how there's a lot of momentum going for the team if they are victorious. And if they have a lot of fun, then all of a sudden just things come together.
Sure.
That could be the case here. If they start winning and they gain some momentum, that could literally be what sets them apart of the opponent. And we should also highlight that especially for Splendor, that's also something where he wants to prove himself right now against his old team. So there's a little bit of a grudge match too, where he's going to be the one that has the motivation to tell everyone, guys, listen, buckle down because I don't want to lose this.
The monkeys always winning when they're not supposed to be winning. That's the entire vibe you get for them. And then when it gets a little bit rough, they just completely falter. So week 1, we're expecting them to not do well against Team Liquid, which means today they're going to get a 3-0 against them, and then we're like, oh my gosh, the monkey's amazing, and then next week, they'll probably feed. We'll see what's going to be happening.
We're going to bring the Wheel of Wisdom back.
Yeah, the Wheel of Wisdom doesn't come back. We actually need to upgrade that thing. I think we were talking about getting it all fixed up and beautiful.
We're talking about an upgrade because, again, our rocket scientists, that's the only tool that they actually found to predict how the monkeys are doing, and they've been working hard on that. As you could see last season, I mean, it was hard to balance it, but yeah.
Well, let's go into game number 1 here as Team Liquid facing off against Monkeys. It's going to be Arcaner here on the left side, Ethernal as well coming in here for the roster, Sport Billy and Hasuwabs, and then finally going to be picking up our final hero here as Nurok will be playing Stukov.
And over to the right side of the map, we have the Menagerie, the Monkeys, playing with a Crosby. He's currently sitting right there on Lunara. We have Maka at the same time on Greymane. Alex, of course, on the side lane. Grammar Baller with Johanna, Alex on Blaze, and Splendor on the support here with Malfurion.
So immediately we're going to go straight to the middle of the map here. Going to be keeping an eye on Rimmer on Stitches in the early game. He'll be looking for that early hook, but Sport Billy should be able to deny that. And then afterwards, it should be straight into the wave clear, which wave clear right now, it's looking pretty good for the Monkeys. However, with Tassadar being on the opposing side, for Team Liquid and that Psystorm quest being touted into, they will have their own ability to clear up the map.
Yeah, Arcana especially is now with Tracer, of course, in a position where he can showcase that threat level that he can just exude as a damage dealer. And you've been talking about that earlier, that this is a role where he feels more comfortable in. He's been playing the off lane and the main tank for quite some time now, and has always echoed how he's happy to play it for his team, but it's not really the position that he has the most fun in, that he enjoys the most. So that has definitely changed, and he can now try and showcase how strong he actually is on that range DPS.
Especially when you were on Team Method. I mean, you had Schwimpy, you had Nick to compete against. Yeah. It just didn't feel like it was a role that they had room for it. Now, moving over to Team Liquid, they also made room for him, so he's going to be doing his best here to shine. But don't forget about Monkeys over here on the right side. Splendor wanting to prove that, you know, moving down on the support side didn't do so well for Team Liquid, but he's definitely here to do well with this team. Already playing well on the Malfurion and trying to follow up those hooks that keep coming out from our Stitches.
Maki with the rotation down to the bot lane. He wants to go for the camp immediately here, and he snuck past all the vision points for Team Liquid. So this is something that they don't know right now. Question just is, at some point, someone on the side of Team Liquid has to call, listen boys, Greymane isn't here. And that's really when you can rotate down, because where else would he be? And that's already Eternal double checking, but he might be a little bit too late, and indeed he is. The camp has already been taken, and Team Liquid is just a bit too late to contest the siege train camp. So already good move on the side of the Monkeys.
That's one of the things where Greymane just really exceeds at when it comes to a lot of the assassins available. Sure, Hanzo with a scatter arrow build can clear out camps, but Greymane can just clear them out so darn well when he moves into Worgen form. So if you're ever thinking about that in your own draft at home, okay, I need damage here, I need some kind of burst, but I also need the ability to clear out mercenary camps because nobody on my team can do it. Greymane is definitely an option, as Make just showcased there.
Also, one of the points that we have to definitely raise here is that we have a tank build on the side of Stitches, at least to an extent. It's a bit of a hybrid, with level 1 going for his Regeneration Master variation and then going into Slam on 4. So he at least gets that extra hit point pool. And it's pretty easy to complete any of these Globe Talents on Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is still the best map by far to go for that.
Been seeing a little bit more different Stitches builds lately, especially with Decker King. If you go in for the extra healing talent available to get the amplified healing. Gosh, that is so good with Kane. It feels like Stitches is really difficult to kill, which is something that he's actually struggled with in the past. If he's engaged upon, usually he gets picked off pretty easily. He's got a decent health pool, but he has no mobility, so things to consider. With a Night Camp being pushed in the middle lane, though, Monkeys are going to group up and get to get aggressive, looking to grab these turrets, while Team Liquid hasn't done the same on their side here. So they definitely need to focus down Knight in the middle, and they'll start doing it here with the Johanna coming in with the Condemn, and of course Psystorm popping out.
The Monkeys are doing well early on. And again, we have to highlight once more that Liquid is heading into this series as not only the favorite, but also the team that has, from the get-go, said, we are not happy with our performance in Phase 1. We want to go to the offline events. We want to go to BlizzCon. That is the goal here. If they would lose this game, that would be a huge blow to their confidence. They were very happy going up against Monkey Menagerie in their first game. And right now, the Monkeys are actually driving that agenda a little bit. The hooks from Murmur Baller are always a bit of a threat here. Crosby's following it up. Definitely not an easy start for Team Liquid as the Monkeys are starting to control the space on the map.
Arcane are having a hard time hitting those pulse bombs. Was looking for Greymane in that fight. Didn't quite get the damage he wanted there, so Monkeys were able to trade back pretty darn well. And now, with Team Liquid starting to be beaten back, Monkeys are moving in, attempting to go for the turn-in. They have a total of 55 gems, but Team Liquid, they are being annoying with this continued disruption. Finally, a hook connects. Nurok will be the target. Greymane jumps in, brings out the slash, and there, it's first blood.
First blood for the Monkeys, and they are going in with the damage. And it's actually difficult to kill anyone on their side. They have Blaze, who's always incredibly difficult to take out. They have Stitches at the front, a hit point heavy tank. So the two main targets are the damage dealers. That's Lunara and Greymane. And it's not going to be super easy to do anything with that. Talking about Lunara, we have on level 4 Nature's Culling taken on her side, so a bit more damage with Nature's Toxin. Tune on heroes fits perfectly with the wave clear that they need here. And the Splintered Spear now, so that's going to make it very, very easy for them to just clear these waves out. Especially since we now have also the level 7 talent for Stitches picked up to increase the slam damage even more. And they're having a good setup here.
They're having a good setup, but Monkeys have yet to be able to actually get a turn in. There's so much disruption available here from Team Liquid, but those 73 gems are still sitting on them.
This is a really good point. They have a lot of vision available to them through Tacita, and that allows them to just detect whenever the Monkeys are going to try and turn in. But again, Greymane with a camp attempt here, and the rotation of Team Liquid is once again moving in, but a little bit too late, and that could put the Haka into an awkward spot. They're trying to take him. Arcana's now in 2. Here comes the attack. Marke moves out, but everyone is low. They give it up for now, but here comes the damage output. Arcana is already low. Eternal is trying to borrow away here. He gets taken out. That's the second kill for the Monkeys.
Rimmer has a hook though. He goes in for it, misses Nurok, and Nurok is Corbelia able to get out. So Team Liquid takes away the Giants, but Monkeys are able to trade out a kill in exchange.
Yeah, definitely calling worth right there. Look at experience alone. They're already more than a half level ahead. The Monkeys might have given the camp up, but they actually took the kill. And it was once more because Liquid rotated a bit too late. they were in trouble there. Hazovs with a late dimensional shift, but here's the turn in for the blue team actually, as we have Liquid sneaking it in up at the top before the Monkeys can confirm it down here at the bot lane. But the Monkeys are already ahead. So Liquid needs to get value out of this one, or the Monkeys with the turn-in can snowball that easily towards level 10.
I'll be looking for turrets here, but remember, turrets don't give as much experience anymore. It's actually been changed to where most of the experience is now in forts, so giving this first turn-in isn't as prevalent as it used to be back in the day, but still, it's experience that you can move in for. Arcana and Sportbilly immediately go in this top lane while they try to put some pressure on their opponents, especially with Monkeys here with Stitches. They go for a hook, here comes the silence, and Team Liquid steps up, while Dahaka continues to push in the bottom lane.
Crosby gets the stacks in over and over again here with Lunara, and he's doing really well. Of course, Liquid has to take down these structures, but the Monkeys are playing a fantastic game considering that everyone was worried. How are they going to perform here? Do they have the motivation? They themselves have been very timid about any predictions for Phase 2 of 2018 in HGC, but they're looking strong in this first game. They will have the level 10. At this point, Liquid is not looking at this aggressive team that wants to go to the offline events.
Sportbilly is trying to retreat here after a hook. He will get away, but he's pretty darn bruised. Alex Prodigy goes for a jet propulsion, though. He might get punished. Kaner steps up. Not quite the pulse bomb, so he can't trade out. You'll have to wait for level 10 anyways. Looking over to Monkeys with their level 10 pickup. Dormant Vibes going live, but also Stitches is going to be picking Gorge.
Yeah, Gorge over Putic Bile, so not going into any combo with the unfair advantage, which was old school actually. But Alex is still threatening combustion here, and we talk a lot about how crazy Bunker is, and I think it would be a bit insane just let that pass, but then at the same time, Alex has in the past been a fan of combustion for a long time, so I wouldn't really put it past him to pick that, even though it seems to be a bit crazy to pass up on Bunker.
My only issue with going combustion here is...
He goes for the bunker.
Okay, he goes for the bunker. The retreats are pretty available here for Team Liquid. I mean, you can go for Stukov, but you have Burrow for Dahaka, Johanna with the Iron Skin, you can stop it with the Blessed Shield. Safer play going for the bunker, and that'll be the pickup here for the Monkeys, while they attempt to open up the map. Finally, 10 hits here for Team Liquid, though, and they are willing to threaten this fight if they need to. They have Archon available for Tassadar while he clears up the top lane. And remember, that side storm is going to be very helpful for clearing out that lane, but the middle is where most of the aggression is coming from, as we lose about a quarter of health on that fort.
Yeah, now the question is, of course, is that really enough for the Monkeys with that heavy commitment towards the mid-led lane that they had there? But Alex has been doing work at the bottom, and that's where they transition in now immediately. They have taken 2 walls down, they have taken the fountain away, they have still the lead. Here comes the Gorge. That was a long-distance hook, but at the same time, it's only Johanna, and Iron Skin should still be available. Good damage onto Sportbilly at the front, but it's not enough, and down goes Malfurion. That's the kill against Splendor we're looking for.
Arcana was able to find that pulse bomb, and he moves in, and they want a little bit more too. A drag comes out, and there's Lunara. Now she gets picked off. Team of Liquid takes 2.
Yeah, I really don't like the decision to gorge Johanna here. I feel that was a foregone conclusion that you can't take out in that sense. She still has the Iron Skin available. You don't have anything unless you really drop the Twilight Dream immediately when she pops out, and then the follow-up of Team Liquid is simply there. You have the Lurking Arm coming in for the silence. The Monkeys were in a great spot there, but I really feel that that was one of... Like, Rema Botta has been incredibly patient of not gorging Johanna when they were attacking in the middle. So even after he lands the hook, I expected him to just put damage on and not utilizing Gorge. I just don't think if you go for Johanna, when she still has her trade up, you're going to get anything out of that. If anything, you're going to set it up for Team Liquid to turn it around.
Well, it's all been said and done, and Monkeys will now have to defend a push coming from Team Liquid as they're able to get their turn in. And they are already setting up the front walls of all 3 lanes. Now, luckily for Monkeys, they have their own vines. They're able to poke down this Web Weaver pretty darn quickly from afar with the help of Rimmer and crew stepping up. But the middle and top lane is the main story of the game. Ooh, a hook comes out, but Arcana, with the quick recall, is able to get out.
Forces the recall. Defense of the bot lane was good, but of course there's a bit more to consider here. So we have at the top lane, Eternal now starting to push in. Alex alone is not going to be able to really push this back. Mid lane being defended as well, but Liquid has started to take that lead in experience. So they are now starting to gain some of that momentum that we expected from them early on already. Rema is hitting these hooks, but he's just not connecting with the targets that he really wants.
That's going to be 1 fort and a 2nd fort taken out. The experience jump for Team Liquid goes up pretty dramatically here, as they're about to hit level 14, while Monkeys are just about to hit level 13. Now, the good news for the Monkeys, they have 77 gems available. Yep. They're able to move for a turn in if they're able to find that hook, if they're able to find that target they want to pick off. And as we scale up, Lunara's damage is pretty darn nice as he starts to spread that poison around. The issue of Stukov and Tassadar bringing those heals is going to be something they have to get through. But with a hook, you're able to find some targets. They go for another one, but Eternal reads it and drops down the burrow.
Yeah, drops the burrow there. Hook didn't even quite reach him, but that was definitely the safe play, especially since he has 23 gems. He needs to make sure that he doesn't fall. If he gets hooked in and dies, then they lose the gems on top of it. But now it's 13 versus 13. And that's a chance for the Monkeys to go in. Greater Spell Shield on Lunara is keeping her a bit safer. The Iceberg on Malfurion doing the exact same for him. So this is an opportunity. Alex already down here at the bot lane. Can drop the bunker at any point. Great shove coming out, and Splendor again in trouble and gets taken out.
Splendor having a hard time, and now Crosby will too, as Arcana chases him down. It's going to be one pick up, a second one as well. And now the 4 can be taken away for Team Liquid. They continue to group up here in the bottom lane. Eternal leads the charge, while Tassadar will be stuck with the task of clearing out this middle wave. Team Liquid looking much more clean here in the mid game.
Yeah, definitely stepping it up at this point and finding more confidence now. And they are definitely exploiting the positioning that we saw from Splendor now in 2 of these fights. Didn't even have an opportunity to drop his Twilight Dream there. Gets interrupted. And I mean, there are definitely a lot of tools that make his job extremely difficult. You have the Haka with the tongue, with the isolation. You have the Blessed Shield on Johanna's side, and then the silence of Stukov to boot. So there's a lot of tools that make it difficult for Splendor to set himself up for a really good Twilight Dream. So they have to be very cautious with how they approach these fights.
It's difficult, but I feel like he has options available to him. You have 2 great frontliners in front of you,
yeah.
Stitches and Blaze to play around. He needs to play a little bit more passive there and follow up the hooks. Here we go. There goes the hook. Eternal goes with the immediate burrow here. Alex Apogee moves in with a jet propulsion, goes in for a double stun. We'll get it, but no kill available.
Now, I would really have loved for them to follow this up a little bit more decisively. Even the Twilight Dream, just to drop the Haka would have been okay. With how many gems he currently holds, I think that would have been an investment that's worthwhile, especially since Liquid is now turning in and they are so close on 16. I think there was a great opportunity of them to follow the hook up with maybe a Gorge, maybe a Jet Propulsion, get the Twilight Dream in there, just blow one target apart. Here comes the Gorge again. Does he get it behind the wall? Yeah, barely.
But Malfurion's low. Gonna go ahead and drop the ice block, up to the bunker. Eternal needs to fall down here. He pops the essence and he gets picked up.
Double kill.
Make also goes in and he finds Arcaner. The Monkeys, they're fighting back as Alex Apogee moves in and goes for the body block.
The hook is good and Nurok is now gonna fall for sure. The question is how much more are they gonna get? Already Archon being used by Hazorps here. Crosby wants to follow it up, but the call has been made. Fall back and make sure that we defend. 16 isn't there yet, but that was fantastic. Going up against the talent advantage, they get the kill against the Haka. We get Greymane with a great initiation against Arcana, taking him down too, and all of a sudden, Liquid's push with the Web Weavers and the level 16 talents here advantage is completely negated.
Those kills could not have come at a better time. They stopped right on this big push coming in, as you mentioned, which means Monkeys now get the essentially free defense and don't have to lose out on any keys taking any damage here. Beautiful play from them. They also hit level 16, and we suddenly have a game on our hands.
Oh yeah, we definitely do. And the Monkeys show nothing of that lack of motivation that we talked about in the past, which we've seen there. And that's the thing. Alex can always 1v9 if he needs to.
If he needs to. He's got to hit a button, power up, and he'll move in. And look at this, 100 gems available for the Monkeys. Rimmer is going in for the turn-in, and this is where they can start to open up the map. They still have to get through forts, and then of course afterwards fall up into keeps, but Team Liquid are suddenly on the back foot.
Look at the map. There's 3 forts there.
Yep.
That's a ton of experience that we have that the Monkeys cannot pick up, and they're already tied in experience. They're just barely behind. So right now, if they take all these structures, they will get a massive boost in experience, and then Liquid would be quite behind. And the hooks just keep coming.
The fishing hook finds Johanna. She's able to Iron Skin, so once again she turns around and goes for the fight. Silence does come out, and they're going straight here for Stitches. The Pulse Bomb connects, but he's able to jump into the bunker, so it does not detonate, put damage on Stitches.
Cleanses the isolation out as well with the help of the bunkers. A job well done here. Hooks are still coming out as Remaballer is going for prediction hooks at this point and just tries to make sure that he always threatens the opponent here. 16 versus 16. The double storm on the side with Echo from Tassadar helps to soften these targets up and gets the wave playing. But at the same time, the fishing hook is just such a huge threat now with any move that we're seeing from the Monkeys.
Yeah, they're playing around Tassadar using Oracle to make sure they know exactly where Stitches is at. If they don't know, they're sitting behind Johanna or Infrastructure to make sure they don't get picked off. The clear comes out in the top. The middle also gets cleared out as well, so Team Liquid doesn't deal with too much damage coming their way with the Haka in the bottom lane.
The root. Alex actually got rooted into ground here by Nurok. It was well done. The Violent Infection on level 13 definitely coming into play here and putting Blaze into an awkward spot, but it's not enough to take him down. But still, Liquid is able to defend quite nicely here. They're still on slightly ahead in experience. They have, of course, to be a bit worried about that potential additional turn-in that we could now see from the Monkeys, since they still hold 87 gems. But they defended 2 of their forts, and that's not too shabby.
That's not too shabby, and with a turn-in available for the Monkeys, they'll grab the Night Cam. That way they can buy a little space here in the middle lane, get that pushing in, and then work on trying to grab the turn-in. However, Team Liquid, we've seen it before in the early game. They do have enough poking tools available to prevent this from actually being dropped off while they have Dahaka work on the rest of the map. And Dahaka's doing so right now. He's actually grabbing the Giants at the bottom side. Monkey stepping up. You see Rimmer sharking around, about to have that hook available once again, so he can move in and try to force a fight for his team.
Nice dodge by Alex here. Norg was trying to root Alex down again, and this time it didn't work out. These hooks are just always such a huge threat, and Liquid needs to be careful. They don't have a cleanse, and they are. But Billy is now even moving in. Dahaka could, of course, burrow in at any point in time. Here he comes, but we have the turn and also completed. Liquid wants the kill. He won it right now, and they get it. Down he goes. Stitches is down.
Perfect timing there. The drag to follow up 2. Alex Aproji stuck by himself, and he'll get picked off. 2 fall for the Monkeys, and right when they go for the turn-in 2, Team Liquid should be able to clear this up. They already have the map pushing out. Good defense for them.
Yeah, definitely. That's what Liquid needed right now. This is basically the same situation we had earlier for the Monkeys. The double kill comes in as the Web Weavers go down, so Liquid has an easy clear, and through those 2 kills and the Dahaka element or factor, they have now also a level lead over their opponent. So they are once again setting their sights on the pretty soon.
Condemn comes out. They're not hasn't this drag though. Unable to get it there with no Blessed Shield being available, still on cooldown. Sport Billy couldn't really force that more than the Condemn. However, they do force Monkeys to pull away, and they'll be able to deal with that Web Weaver, so there it is. And 20 is right around the corner.
A lot of these fights just seem that it's a bit of a problem with Engage, since we have very rarely Splendor in a position where he can actually drop the Twilight Dream.
Sure.
The last fight was a similar issue where the bunker goes down, the rest of the team just tries to move away, and Stitches can't reach the bunker, so he goes down before he can even use that as an escape tool, and then Blaze gets caught in the process as well. So that definitely took a lot of the gems that they had away from them, and yeah, it's a bit of an awkward spot for them now, especially since the Storm Talents are so close for Team Liquid, and Liquid is going to try to turn in now and attack with Storm Talents, and then they need keeps. That's one thing that Team Liquid has to pull off right now. They need to take some of those inner circle structures now.
I mean, they can go through for a straight power drive and get the victory here. Get the turn in completely, push out the mid-waves, get level 20, moving in for the boss as well. Need to play a little bit slow here. They want to get this last wave here if they go for that boss.
I actually would really like if they don't go for it, because you have that hook element on the side of the Monkeys. So if you actually cluster up over there, one good hook is all that the opponent needs to really put you in an awkward spot. It's on cooldown now though, so they know that they have a little bit of time. Hazops can provide vision, so this is a good opportunity now for Team Liquid. Hook or no hook to get the boss.
Got about 9 more seconds here until the hook comes up. Almost there. Rimmer's waiting for that cooldown to pop up. He wants to go in. There we go. Hook comes out. Sadly, doesn't gonna pick anyone. That was a blind one though, a little bit hard. Just trying to find somebody. And that'll be a boss. Team Liquid even playing patiently here, make sure they get the turn in so that they can make sure that the Web Weaver and the boss coincide with the push in the top side.
It wouldn't really have mattered too much because Greymane wasn't even there, so that's another big problem. He was at the bot lane pushing this out. But now Liquid is just absolutely having all the trump cards in their hands. They have the boss, they have the Web Weavers, and they have the level 20 talents. I mean, this is really one of these situations where you want to go for game. It's not only the keep that you're looking for here. Alex knows that too. He's in the mid lane right now with Blaze, trying to drop something to get that level 20 for them. But he had to retreat already to start the defense, and they don't have the Storm Talents yet.
Infinite Archon 2, very difficult for Monkeys to deal with this. Trying to make sure they don't get picked off, trying to get level 20, but also trying to clear out this top lane. Hook comes out, there's going to be the Gorge, it's going to be Tracer. Tracer here on the back, the Twilight Dream is too early. Easy recall there for Arcaner. Zips to his teammates, gets the shield, and now with the boss and the Web Weaver on the core, they will start to focus it down.
Not a strong moment for Splendor there. Killer attempt against Rema Baller. He gets his quick devour in, and that saves him for now, but who saves the core? Core is about to fall, still no 20 for the Monkeys, and with Stukov down, it's still not enough. This is game as we have Team Liquid claiming victory in game number 1.
A little more back and forth than I was expecting there. Also from Monkeys, I felt like they had a really good draft, and they had a couple of moments where execution was great, but also a couple of moments where things kind of faltered a little bit too much for them. But in particular, Team Liquid, that pick in the top right corner, when that bunker was coming out to save Stitches and being able to get that root coming in from Nurok, that secured them a really nice lead and got them that victory.
For me, that game opens up a lot of questions already, because we had a pretty clear picture coming into this series, what to expect, and that has been echoed through the community as well. We've heard very very similar voices from the players themselves too. But now you look at that game, and the question is, first of all, what kind of happened here? Did the Monkeys all of a sudden find that drive where they are saying, hey, we are able to take Team Liquid down? Or is Liquid maybe not in as good of a spot as they thought they were? Because that's not quite what you expect from someone that wants to go to the offline events and goes up against an opponent that is said to have lost a lot of their, or a lot of the drive and ambition that they showcased in the last phase. So that was a lot closer than expected. And to be frank with you, I think there were a lot of moments where the Monkeys could have snowballed it, and they just ran into a bad engage, had a bit of problems with communication here, and then lost heroes at crucial points in the game.
It's incredible what competition can bring out of us, right? This team that feels like they've been falling off a little bit, Monkeys not being as focused as we were expecting them to be, and yet the drive is just enough, or it's game time. They actually deliver there, and I agree with you, especially in that bottom right corner. When that keep was defended, they were able to find those couple of kills. They had 100 gems for a turn-in. They could have gone for the double turn-in, pushed out, opened up the map, moved into keeps. That was definitely a game that they had that was under the winnable Czech colony there. So we'll see if that's going to be happening as we go into game number 2, but they're definitely here to compete.
Yeah, there were a couple of situations where I think there were questionable decisions that were made. We talked about the Gorge against Johanna at the bot lane. It didn't really work out for them. But even after that, a few of the positionings that we saw from Splendor, Twilight Dream against Tracer towards the end, maybe already a bit too late, but that was too early. There's small communication and coordination problems that we still see. Then again, that is also to be expected, considering that the teams are just now playing together. So there is obviously something where a new player comes into the team that has different experience in his old team. They have a bit of a different rhythm, so he needs to adjust. So these small things are to be expected within the first week, but it definitely shows that the Monkeys have what it takes to compete here.
Well, my favorite part of the show is trying to look at your tweets as you guys continue to tweet us at Heroes Esports using the hashtag HGC from Yinj. It's finally time for HGC again. My two favorite teams are playing tonight, and I wish both Team Liquid Hots and Zealots Hots good luck.
Yeah, Liquid so far ahead. We saw here from Jinj and Troll and HGC. Heroes Esports HGC is back today. Make sure to tune in and catch all the new rosters in action. Definitely hyped for that, and we've already seen 2 of them play, and I couldn't be more excited for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
I want to see what the Monkeys pull off here. They had a good draft. They actually had a really, really good draft. And I like the rotation also that they showcase. Greymane always going for the camps, Liquid trying to meet that, trying to catch them, but never really being able to do that in time, so a little bit off.
Yeah, slightly off in timing here. Let's go ahead and go to game number 2 and check out the battleground for where we'll be going in this best of 5 series. Remember, the first to win 3 will earn the victory today. We're going to Cursed Hollow.